मेरी लड़की 2 दिन से गुम है, तो शायद कहीं गई होगी तो घर पे होगी, तो मैं जाकर उनसे मिलूँगा। कि मेरे को तो ये विश्वास ही नहीं हो रहा था कि भी मेरी बेटी इस दुनिया में नहीं है।
Not even in their worst nightmare could they have imagined the fate that befell their daughter. Gang raped, mutilated, her skull smashed to bits, parts of her internal organs missing, her decomposed body half-eaten by dogs. Her brother said he could only recognize her from the anklets found on her body. But the full extent of the brutality was only revealed after the autopsy.
इसके साथ जो मल्टीपल वो हैं जो गैंग टाइप का होता है, उन्होंने इसको किडनैप करके ना और इसके साथ ये इसका मर्डर और जो इसके साथ अप्राकृतिक तरीके से किया गया।
Drugged by her assaulters to render her powerless, she was gang raped by as many as 7 men. They impaled her with sharp objects, they smashed her face and mowed her down by a vehicle repeatedly to render her unrecognizable. Despite this, the investigating officers attributed her death to an animal attack.
बॉडी जो है इसका फेस खराब था और जो लोअर पार्ट है बॉडी का वो भी काफ़ी खराब था। इससे प्राइमा फेस से पता चला किसी एनिमल ने जो है उसको जो है नोट रखा।
A clear contradiction from the autopsy report that conclusively establishes the nature of the crime.
हमारी मिसेज गई थी वहाँ रिपोर्ट दर्ज कराने, तो इतनी उनकी आजकल लेडीज़ों की कौन सुनाई करता है जी। वैसे गरीब आदमी होते थे, वैसे बातों में धमका फुसका के उनको ऐसे ही भेज देते हैं।
Deliberate inaction, a botched up investigation, and now a half-baked attempt to save face.
The matter is being investigated and all senior officers of police as well as administration are supervising this investigation. So definitely if somebody or something has happened like that, the action will be taken that is.
And the state government has nothing more to offer except the customary lip service.
मैं तो कर रहा हूँ, मैं इसकी निंदा करता हूँ और जो इस प्रकार के कल्प्रिट होंगे बख्शे नहीं जाएंगे।
Another daughter brutalized, another family destroyed, and the people empowered to protect them making a mockery of the law. Will the nation step out on the streets to demand justice for this daughter? Will the outrage force the central government to step in? Wake up and raise your voice for India's daughters, because enough is enough. Mirror Now report.
You're watching the Urban Debate on Mirror Now. I leave you with the visual of that mother, stunned. Her 20-year-old daughter was found mutilated, brutalized, her head smashed in, because she had turned down the advances of someone who wanted to marry her. This is the world we live in. We have a government here in Haryana that says that if you want freedom for women, why don't you walk around naked? We have a government in Haryana, a chief minister who says that women should dress decently, men will not look at them. We have a chief minister of Haryana who treats women like objects and who tells the men in his state to continue to treat women like objects. And that's the mindset that has brought us to this point, where we demand that this very chief minister of Haryana resign from his position, because he obviously does not have the ability to maintain the law and order situation in his state. He is also the Home Minister. The police report directly to him. He is not able to keep the women safe. He has not done his job. And because he has not done his job, he must resign. Aishwarya Bhatti, advocate at the Supreme Court, do you agree that the Chief Minister of Haryana today must resign?
Faye, I'm not going to go to the extent of asking for resignation of Chief Minister of Haryana. I want to highlight the issues, the complete negligence and, the complete callousness with which this matter has been dealt with so far. complete insensitivity with which the system is dealing, even now the family of the victim. You can't be asking for documentary proof to a father who has lost her daughter in such a brutal manner. We expect you to please stand up and have free and fair investigation in this. We want you to set up a committee to examine why these cops had gotten hand in glove with the accused persons. We need this matter to go to a fast track court. We need the victim's family to be treated with sensitivity, with affection, with care. Because we have failed them. We have failed them. You have failed them. The law and order has failed them. The state machinery has failed them. You can't be insensitive to that father tonight and not for days to come. And there are a lot of issues, steps that can be taken on prevention. We can't be shutting out these
Raman
issues
Malik,
on a
you must hear
mindset
the
issue
women out.
anymore.
Raman Malik, you will first
These
hear
are
the
not
women out.
the mindset.
You will not interrupt them, Raman Malik.
Will
Thank
only
you very
change.
much.
Mindset will only change if there is swift action and strong action on issues like this. And there are
let me tell you what actions have already been taken. Would you guys listen to it?
No. Raman Malik, tonight, Raman Malik, tonight, the government of Haryana, whom you represent, will sit in silence and listen to the women of this country, because a lot of them have picked up the phone and called tonight, and we're going to patch in those calls. You will listen to the women who are speaking, Raman Malik.
Fine, I'm going to sit down and listen, but at least let the nation know what actions have already been taken. You guys are running a campaign and you are not ready to listen to the side of the government, what they've already done. How are you going to conduct the debate like this?
Because the last time I let you speak, Raman Malik, you told us that you cannot protect every woman in the state. You told me that you cannot protect any woman in the state.
The modus operandi of the criminals has been changed. Do you know this? The criminals or modus operandi has been changed. There is a paradigm shift because of you people who are standing with them. There's just one or two criminals, and those two criminals, we are not able to apprehend them. Why? Because you people are standing with them. The modus operandi has changed, where they have started gang raping the women in not in 2 or 3, in 7 now. And they have
This
a juvenile
government
pattern,
does not
so
believe
that
to
You are
stand
standing
with
with the
any
criminals.
criminals
That's why you are cross-questioning the victims.
Okay, so Raman Malik, why didn't the Chief Minister visit the family today? Raman Malik, why didn't the Chief Minister visit the family today? Why didn't the Chief Minister visit the family today?
Fine. One statement I've heard, but the second statement I've never heard.
You've never heard?
Let me tell you, you were talking about SIT. SIT has been formed.
Let me tell you, Raman Malik, hang on, Raman Malik, let me clarify to you what's happening in your own state. Let me clarify to you, Raman Malik, what's happening in your own state. The SIT has been formed in the case of the gang rape of the northeastern student in Gurgaon.
Derail the government's point.
The SIT has been formed. Hang on, Raman Malik, calm down. Let me tell you, we track these things very closely on this channel. The SIT, for your information, has been formed in the case of the gang rape of the northeastern girl in Gurgaon.
From the Supreme Court, let me answer her. My request is fair. I am again and again requesting you. I am not being anywhere being gender biased. I am just wanting to reply to the lady who's from the Supreme Court.
Please go ahead, Raman Malik, but I give you no guarantee that the women will not respond to your answer as well. Go ahead.
I am ready to take anything. You want to abuse me on the show? I am ready to take that.
Nobody is abusing you. We're just demanding justice, Raman Malik. We're just demanding justice.
Justice has to be done in the manner which is prescribed by the Constitution. You cannot have kangaroo courts. But had it been my preview that I would have been given this one freedom, I would have said that the kangaroo courts for these heinous crimes should be there. And there should be...
Do you even realize?
Freedom? He's talking about his freedom.
He's talking about his
freedom. What about the freedom of women?
Even I am a lawyer.
Women of Haryana. You are talking about your freedom. When a girl can't go out in Haryana, what about her freedom?
Ma'am, let me please...
What about her freedom? You are talking about your freedom.
Please listen.
There is no women safe in Haryana. Gurgaon is the rape capital.
To the fact that I'm saying... Ma'am, you may say anything and everything. I will not contradict that because there's no point contradicting it. All that I'm saying is, if I was given the freedom of choice, I would put these kind of crime under kangaroo courts, which say no listening and shoot the person or let it be hanged. But that kind of freedom is not available with me. Having said that, SIT has been formed. Some kind of compensation
What sort of lip service is this? You want me to feel happy about the fact that you want to bypass law and order completely and shoot
Compensation,
the
he's talking
accused?
about Faye. Faye, he's talking about the compensation. He has guts to talk about compensation. We don't need compensation. We can take care of the family. We don't need compensation from you people. We need action. We need hanging. No, we don't need compensation from you. We don't need anymore. We can take care of the family.
Let me point out to you one second. Raman Malik, I'll let you have your say. I'm sorry, but none of us are satisfied with the answer. Let me also point out to you, Swapnil Khatari, Vikram Singh, Dr. Dhuru Shah joins us right now. One second, Raman Malik. On Sunday, there was a northeastern girl in Gurgaon who went to Delhi to watch a movie, came back to Gurgaon. Outside her house, 3 men in a car snatched her, drove around Gurgaon, gang raped her for 5 hours, dumped her back in the street. Does the story sound familiar to you, Raman Malik? Dumped her back onto the street, where she hobbled into a police station and filed a complaint. Till today, the police have not caught these 3 people. Gurgaon, Haryana, rape capital of this country. Why haven't the police caught those 2 people? And the SIT that you're talking about was to try and trace a car which obviously should be in several various CCTV camera footages. Why haven't you managed to pick up that car? Why haven't you managed to arrest those 3 people? Because we've not made a fuss about it on this channel yet, which we will do. Then you will tell me that you'll shoot people on sight. What sort of nonsense law and order do you have in your state? Vikram Singh, what sort of nonsense answers am I getting tonight? This upsets me as a woman and as a journalist and as an Indian. This is appalling. Vikram Singh.
I do understand the sense of indignation and the anguish that you and all other lady panelists feel. And a word of caution and word of advice, Mr. Raman Malik, you have been so sensitive, you have been so proactive in earlier episodes, and I would expect the same, a little more maybe, to run the extra mile today. Let us please understand that all the lady panelists, including Faye, are absolutely incensed by what has happened, the outrage. Then the rape victim's father has special rights. He has special rights because he has been wronged. He is a victim, and the basic precept and the theory of victimology says that whatever he says has to be taken absolutely as the truth. And if it's proved wrong, then you can take remedial measures and do course correction. But as of now, if he says that and he alleges that some police officers were complicit and mixed up in the larger conspiracy, we have to take action immediately. Now about your word, how to prevent? It is one of the easily and the most easily preventable offences. Not 10%, but easily by 70%. How? Proper documentation, fast track courts, proper convictions, and after the convictions, monitoring of their cohorts and the level of investigation and the conviction. If there is an acquittal, every acquittal will have to be analyzed, appeals will have to be filed. We pursue them so doggedly that no rapist, a potential rapist, looks towards any woman or our child ever. This is something that is very doable. We have done it earlier. You have done it earlier, Mr. Malik, and I'm sure you can do it better even now. By my saying that, yes, we are the best, doesn't make me the best. We have to prove it by our actions. We have to prove it by a resolute action, by a firmness and a determination. All the ladies are here to guide us, help us, and tell us what went wrong, horribly wrong, in these 3 episodes that Faye has just mentioned. It is for us to take the cue, the roadmap ahead, and then to implement it on the ground. All these ladies, all these learned ladies are here to help us out. And the least we can do is to go by what their expectations are. And this is our bounden duty. We don't do any favor to them. This is the least we can do.
Swapnil Khatari, I would like for the Chief Minister to stop making loose comments about women to begin with.
Yes, Faye, I entirely agree with you. And, the Chief Minister, first of all, needs to make a statements within the boundaries of the Constitution. He can keep his personal predilections and his own preferences aside and his own mindset within the four walls of his mouth. The second aspect that I'm concerned with, Mr. Malik, as DGP Vikram Singh laid out a roadmap to you from the administrative aspect. What I'm appalled and shocked by the fact is that, after, say, 60 minutes or 65 minutes of the debate, Mr. Malik, I don't see you are not exactly getting the gravity of what the situation is. Let me finish, do not interrupt. What the gravity of the situation? The gravity of the situation is that this is like a house on fire. You need instant, immediate remedial measures to begin with, and immediate preventive measures thereafter to ensure. Just ask yourself, May 5th, the Supreme Court pronounces the judgment on Nirbhaya case. On May 9th, between May 9th and May 12th, just within a week, this incident happens with a more fierce brutality than what happened in the Nirbhaya case. So this clearly shows that the people out there, and I do not want to listen that probably those people were absolutely villagers or rustic people who did not know that there was a Supreme Court judgment on this effect. I refuse to believe that. They have committed a more horrific crime within a week itself. So this is like a challenge to the law and order situation in the city first, in the state of Haryana first, and then the country, that look, we will continue to do, we will objectify women, we will treat them
like
as
animals,
as sex objects, and we are animals. This is not a libidinous youth that has gone awry. These are people who are monsters, and they should be treated like that. It is not a kangaroo court that needs to be set up to shoot them at sight. It is the administrative apathy that needs to be rectified first. Sensitize your police first. You cannot protect every woman that is what I had heard. But an effort can certainly be made in that extent. But you must protect because you are a chief minister who has to function within the boundaries of the Constitution, and he has to instill the constitutional values in the underlings right down to the peon who serves him tea.
Dr. Dhuru Shah, who is a very senior gynecologist, the director of Gynac World and the Center of Women's Health and Fertility, joins us on the show. Dr. Shah, I welcome you to this conversation. I'm sure you've read through the case. You've read through the kind of injuries that were discovered during the post-mortem. I can't even begin to empathize because I'm afraid of how I will feel if I try and imagine what this girl went through. 5 years after Nirbhaya, Dr. Shah, this case is so much worse.
I think we need to understand what's really the cause behind this whole thing. The gender equity, which is not really equal in our country. Secondly, there is no education of young girls on what really is reproductive and sexual health. They have no concept. As a matter of fact, 10 years ago, they had no concept as to why do they get their periods, what causes puberty, how do they grow, how do they reproduce, what exactly is sex, etc., etc. There were chapters in books which teachers just told them read it at home.
Don't you think, Dr. Shah, we would be better off teaching young men the law and order and the fact that actually snatching up a girl and doing what you may please with her and treating her like an object or an animal is against the law? It seems to me that for the men in Haryana, Raman Malik, this sort of basic understanding of law and order is completely missing. That men in Haryana, in Gurgaon, in Sonipat, seem to have a lack of understanding of what is legal and what is not. They seem to have a lack of understanding about the fact that women are not objects, that women are not playthings, that women are not animals that they can pick up and brutalize at will. Yogita Bayana, go ahead.
Faye, personally, we are Delhiites. We go to Gurgaon. It's every now and then. I challenge the representative of BJP, send his daughter or send his family member, women family member at night around 8 o'clock, not even too late, 8 o'clock, 8:30 to Gurgaon alone, driving alone. I bet you she'll have horrendous stories to tell. I mean, you cannot imagine going to Gurgaon being such a happening place. It's not safe. I have experienced so many incidences which are like horrendous. So I mean, what are we talking about if Gurgaon is not safe?
Right now, what time is it?
Raman Malik, you're being
has just come
atrocious.
back
Are you
with
based in
her-
Gurgaon?
with my 2 kids.
Ask her
just
if
right
has
now.
she been
No.
ever Eve teased?
Yes, I'm based in Gurgaon.
Please ask her. So you should be all
I
the more
have seen
reasons
that
to know
situation.
how
I
safe
understand that.
your
I don't have to
city
describe
is.
that.
So
yes,
do something about it.
I understand
Do
each and
something
everything,
about it. That's
but
what
I
we
do
are
not
asking.
understand
Simple.
something which is how. What do you want me to do? What exactly you are talking about?
We want you
right
to
now,
safeguard
Mr.
each and
Singh,
every
who was
woman.
an
You are
ex-DGP.
drawing the salary
Ask
from
him,
BJP,
is
not
NCP
me.
his
You are a
records?
public representative,
No,
not
please.
me. You are seeing
I am not
you are
drawing any
drawing all the
He's
funds
many
of a
words.
public
I do not
representative.
draw salary.
Vikram Singh, Swapnil Kothari,
I am not
Aishwarya
drawing
Bhatia have all
salary.
listed out to you very clearly in bullet
Vikram
points
Singh,
what
We
needs
pay
to be
your
done to
salary.
keep the women
Ask him
safe.
if I'm not right.
Why
In
do you
Vikram
keep
Singh's
turning around and
tenure,
saying you don't know how to do it?
Then, on a national scale, 3,000 rapes were increased, which was 12% year on year on UP and 0.7% year on year nationally.
This is not
Are
a
the figures
competition.
wrong? Ask him.
Sir, Mr. Malik,
This is not a
not
competition.
This is
You
not
don't
a
want to do
competition.
anything?
ये कोई
You are very
competition
candid
नहीं है।
about
Talk
it.
rational.
Mr.
Let's find a way.
Mr. Malik, this is not
Statistics
some
do not prove
competition.
anything,
Let me tell you something. Let us not talk about what is happening in other states, and that does not dilute the fact. I would be happy if you were to say that and proudly say that in other states it has 100 rapes have happened, but in my case just one rape has happened. Say it that way. Let's have that competition.
Sir, please
Not that
listen, I
it
am not
has happened this
disturbing
much
you.
there
Please
and this
listen
is
to me.
there. This is not the way. This is not some competition spree here.
Rape has become like a game for point
Even
out.
one rape.
Even one rape is one too many.
Exactly.
Raman Malik, even one rape is one too many. You should be embarrassed that you are fighting a race of rape statistics.
The car has been taken in. Please listen.
Unfortunately, Faye, rape has become
Please
four-letter
listen.
word for them.
Things have
Nothing
been
beyond
done.
that. Just
As far as the
four-letter
police
word.
is
That's
concerned,
it.
Police
That's
metro,
it.
which is out of
Nothing
the
else.
public, are being taken in. There are steps being done. There cannot be a magic wand, but we are
call us
changing
upon.
things
We will tell you
as
how to
and
go
when
about
we can,
victimology,
as fast as
please.
we can.
You have to respect victimology also. You just cannot just keep on speaking on this way. You have to respect victimology because victims
Okay,
have
fine.
rights.
Accept
And
it.
the victims
You have
really
to
need
respect
to
the victim.
understand what's happening with them.
Now tell me.
Just speaking like this will not help you, sir. Ramanji, listen.
One second. I have viewers on the phone line. I have viewers on the phone line. Viewers, ladies and gentlemen, I have viewers on the phone line. Meena is on the phone line from Bangalore. Meena, we can all hear you. Go ahead.
Congratulations, Faye. I only have two, three things to say. That I would request all the women who are there on the panel should initiate a campaign that we all women in India will boycott the 2019 elections until we have been given protection, dignity and respect, and we can walk safely in the streets of India. Let's not go by what the states are doing or what's happening in states. It's the women of India who need to be protected, and it's their constitutional right. We are talking about other constitutional aspects, but the governance also needs to know that India, there is a constitutional right for, even fundamental right for women to be protected. Not only women, children and everybody. But first thing is we should boycott the 2019 elections. All the women of India should just do that. Thank you, Faye, for listening to me.
Thank you, Meena. That is true. The women of India, however we decide to do it, need to come together and stand together as one. Remember, because we are one half of this country. And we cannot anymore be treated like objects, and we're treated like objects on a regular basis by people who run the governments, by people who run the states, by people who are spokespeople to these governments. It's completely unacceptable. Pony's on the phone line from Mumbai. Pony, go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah, good evening, Faye. My name is Tony, not Pony, sorry.
Tony, I'm sorry. Okay, Tony, go ahead.
Yes, I'm a father of two girls, and I'm seeing the arrogance of this BJP person on the channel. They've not learnt anything in life. Our Prime Minister says every person is important. I'm saying it is better to be born a cow in this country than a girl. Because in this country, every cow is important. These politicians do not feel the pain the person is going through because they are fully protected. If one of their family members were raped, then they would understand what a rape is. Today they are so insensitive. The other day on your channel you showed Vasundhara Raje standing with the minister.
I would simply request you. It has been too many times that you're being you are a citizen, agreed, but I'm not being arrogant. I'm just trying to get some logic here. Let's talk logical and find a solution.
Okay, let's Swapnil Kothari. Okay, very good. Let me give Raman Malik some logic. Raman Malik, here is the logic. There was a 20-year-old woman in Sonipat who was gang raped. Her body was mutilated. We have discovered on the autopsy, then in the findings, that she was stabbed with sharp things into her private parts. There are parts of her intestines and her internal organs that are missing. Her head was smashed repeatedly with a brick until she was dead. Then the perpetrators of this crime ran over her face repeatedly with a vehicle until her face was no longer recognizable. They then dumped her mutilated body with her smashed head in an empty plot of land where she was overrun with worms, and stray dogs ate away at her body. Now, Raman Malik, give me logic. Give me logic. Give every woman who is now curling up and doubling up with pain at that story, give them logic. Offer us logic. Give me anything you can tell me to make me feel safer in this country. Anything. Is there anything you can say?
Yes, let me give you some logic. One.
How dare you?
One. We should not go about describing and disintegrating the lost soul. One. Two.
How dare you?
Very important thing. I am saying again and again, the state will not leave any stone unturned to punish all those who are involved in it, whether it is the state part of the police or whether they are part of any society,
Mr. Malik,
any particular sect. We will not spare anybody.
Mr. Malik,
why are you bringing up?
Mr. Malik,
Mr. Malik, please listen. I'm going to listen. Sir, please listen.
This is obviously a consideration in law and order. So he's bringing up caste. He's saying it doesn't matter what sect they're from, we will still take action. Is caste important in law and order?
Mr. Malik, this is the root. This is the problem. These words in your statement are a problem, irrespective of caste, creed, religion. ये lawyers को बोलने दो, आप मत बोलिए. The reason why I am saying is ये दलित girl थी ना 20 साल की, जो girl जिसका ये हशर हुआ, ये दलित girl थी. This is still
यहाँ पे लड़कियों के सुरक्षा की बात हो रही है और वहाँ गाय की बात आ जाती है.
उनको गाय की बात कर रहे हैं, मैं गाय की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. मैं मिस्टर मलिक प्लीज हियर मी आउट. मैं गाय की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. आपने लॉजिक की बात की. I'll talk pure dispassionate logic, pure law. If that's what you want to hear me say, I normally don't lose my cool like this, but this I'll talk pure law because first of all, I started with some emotional angles because this panel consists of only, primarily non-lawyers. So I did not want, and the audience also is primarily non-lawyers. There could be a few lawyers watching, but most of the people are citizens and not all of them are lawyers. So I started on that angle. Now that you're talking about logic and you started about law and proof, let me talk about that fact that there is a concept in law which is there that if a woman has been tattered, battered and brutalized and if disfigured without any clothes on, then there is only one assumption that the law enforcement derives, and that is rape. No other enforcement is derived. ये कोई मगरमच्छ ने नहीं किया ये. मगरमच्छ पूरा ही निकल जाता. This is human monsters who have done this. So that is pure law, pure logic. I will not ask for any further proof. I will go ahead and file an FIR.
That is proof.
That is proof itself.
We have a police officer on camera saying that this is obviously an animal attack. We have a police officer on camera. And 1 second, Raman Malik, we heard you out. I'm actually going to now hand you over to the women of this country who are going to talk to you one by one. Nikita Anand, as a woman in this country, you're in Gurgaon right now. You are in Haryana. What do you have to say to Raman Malik? To the state government, to the Chief Minister of Haryana, what do you have to say?
That the government is not doing its job, the police is not doing its job, because if they were, then we would not be having this discussion. After 5 years of the Nirbhaya case, we would not be discussing this. It's very unfortunate. Every day when I open the newspaper, every single day there is another rape case that is being reported every single day. I can't even say every alternate day, every single day. This is the situation the women are facing in our country, and then you have people like Mr. Malik, who make very loose comments and say, but what do you want me to do? And magic wand. These are not comments that we expect from you. If you are in the government, we expect you to do your job. If you are from the police, we expect you to do your job. It's as simple as that. Now, there are 2 points that I want to make. One is the gravity of the situation. these incidents are happening and they are increasing at an alarming rate. How can we stop this? One, yes, the law and order, which is instant, and of course you need to have your fast track cases, right? One is that. The second, which we are forgetting, and I need to bring this in, is the mentality. The mentality will change with two things. One, of course, that people see that there is the harshest of harshest punishment that the perpetrators of crimes such as these are being met with. So that is one. And if it were up to me, I would say castrate them, castrate these rapers, humiliate them so that they even feel an iota of what they have made an innocent, helpless girl undergo. Make them roam around naked throughout the society, humiliate them, castrate them, and then please hang them. There is nothing less. We have lawyers on this panel. If there is a harsher punishment that someone can suggest, I would veto for that. One is that severe punishment, only and only that can be a deterrent. Point number two, it is a long road, yes, but this also needs to be tackled at the grassroots level, which is your education. And rather than telling the women to cover up, tell your sons not to mentally undress women with their eyes. Tell them that is wrong, rather than telling a girl or a woman that it is wrong to wear shorts and step out. That is where we are wrong. The entire psyche is wrong. And this evil can be rooted out only when there is a change in mentality. Yes, I know it's a very long process. I completely agree. There are obviously instant measures that we need to tackle, which, yes, the government and the police need to do.
Right. Saheli Mitra joins us from Kolkata. Saheli Mitra, Raman Malik took a lot of offense to this one citizen who called in and mentioned cows. Unfortunately, I wish he would take that much offense every time someone got raped in the state of Haryana. Saheli Mitra.
Coming from eastern part of the country, I would like to tell him, and of course others of who are in the administration part of northern part of our country, that instead of just running a campaign for Save the Girl Child, why not run a campaign for raising the boy child in a proper manner? Because I, being a mother of a teenage son, I believe that it should start from the beginning, starting from the school, where the boy should be taught not to objectify a woman as an object of lust, but as an object of art. Do we teach them that? We don't. As a result of which, they are in fact being raised as men who are not just objectifying, but who believe that showing a particular kind of aggression, it is a kind of a power which they are showing. I mean, I don't believe any kind of law and order.
I'm going to bring this back for our viewers who just joined us. Another horrendous rape has taken place in Haryana. Horrendous, brutal, blood-curdling. And it happens in a state that shows zero mercy for its women. This case, in the nature of the crime, is worse than the Nirbhaya case. We came out into the streets and we protested the inaction of the government in the Nirbhaya case. Why is this daughter of India any less? Why don't we feel as strongly about what happened to this girl? Why are we allowing the police and the government of Haryana to take this case lightly, to give us lip service? Sandeep is on the phone line from Ahmedabad. Sandeep, go ahead. I can hear you.
Nobody's taking it lightly. I did.
Sandeep.
I object your
I'm sure you do, Raman Malik. I'm sure you do.
Hello.
The statement that you
Sandeep,
made.
Sandeep, go ahead. Sandeep, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I would.
Yeah.
Because today it is as a campaign being run.
I'm Sandeep Dhawan speaking from Ahmedabad.
Yes.
I just want to say two things. I shifted to Ahmedabad in 2001 because I have three daughters. Two of them are working and one of my youngest daughters is in class 12.
Yes.
I shifted from there because when they were 9-10 years old, all these eve teasing and everything had started by then. And I just want to say two things, that if this thing goes on, what will happen is that people will start taking law into their hands, because if you don't have, any faith in the police or the politicians, and as far as one is going out of the house, I don't have bodyguards. My children don't have bodyguards, with rifles and all that. And I feel personally that, they have to go by public transport also, because they have to work, they have to go out. They can't keep sitting in the house. And it is very important for all the people to understand this, especially the politicians, that they give some kind of a teaching to the police that if there is a robbery of 20,000 rupees and I go, they don't put the FIR, I can understand I've lost that 20,000, fine. But in a case like this, when your own child, your own daughter, they are not putting the FIR, or they know the culprits, or this kind of a thing is happening, it is shameful. Shameful for all of us.
Shameful for all of us. Swapnil.
Yeah, Mr. Malik, I still have 2 or 3 points to make to you, and I'm talking pure dispassionate logic. Once again, as you might be aware, that in 2011, the Delhi High Court suggested castration, 2015, Madras High Court echoed it, and 2016, the Supreme Court asked the centre as to whether we can have castration for child rapists. All these 3 courts asked for child rapists. I would extend that and extend it to even the rapists for women, because I don't think rapists for women are any less barbaric than the rapists for children. I think they are more barbaric here in this case, as we are noticing that. Are you aware of this? If you're not aware, then please ensure, and if you are aware, you should have made the people down below the ladder of the Chief Minister aware, including the administration. Let me tell you one thing, sir. We are living in different scenario. We are living in different climes. I'm again talking pure logic. The moment you take on the mantle of the Chief Ministership and take that oath under the Constitution as a Chief Minister, then one thing which you have to remember, forget everything else. This is the most pressing problem in this country, that we are not able to save half of our women. Demolestation drive is as important as demonetization. So the moment you take on the mantle of Chief Ministership, all the Chief Ministers should sit together and address this problem to the Prime Minister.
And
this is under the Constitution.
I want to understand, Yogita Bayana, I'll ask this question of most, and my panel of women right now are extremely learned, they're all at the top of their game. Yogita Bayana, whose job is it to keep the women of Haryana safe? Whose job is it?
It's a top boss, definitely. It's a top-down approach. He's the first one who's the responsible person. He takes the maximum salary. He's charging us. We are the taxpayer. He's the biggest responsible person. Number 2, definitely under his commands, the police administration, everybody is accountable, but he's the top boss. He's supposed to, I think, as an activist, I would ask his resignation, because if he can't perform, if he can't safeguard the women, he better resign. I think that will set the example for the other Chief Minister, those who are into just grabbing the chair, not performing and make such comments, because they influence the mindset of the people, especially Haryana. Haryana is already having a lot of problem with this social fabric. I think he's the one who's responsible for this. I will not even tell police.
Let me now bring in Aishwarya Bhati. Aishwarya Bhati for Raman Malik, who turns around and says, how do you expect us to keep every woman in Haryana safe? The truth is that is the job of the law and order system. That is the job of the police. That is the job of the people on the ground. And those people then report directly to the Home Minister of the state of Haryana, who in this case happens to be Mr. Khattar himself, who seems to think that if women want independence, they should walk around naked. I think we found the source of the problem here, Aishwarya.
I want you to understand, Mr. Malik, that this is not a women's issue. This is not us versus you. It is not a man versus woman kind of a problem. We expect you to understand that women under our constitution, under our free country, have the same right to life, the same right to live with dignity. And we can't be going about, you can't have 1/2 of your population going about every day without feeling safe or secure. If you don't feel safe and secure, you can't contribute. You can't contribute to your family. You can't contribute to the society. You can't contribute to the nation. So the losses of the nation, and please have more sensitivity. Don't add insult to injury when you are dealing with victims who have had such gory things meted out to them. Please understand, rape is a power crime. It is, as a criminal lawyer, I've seen a lot of crimes that have happened. A lot of the times the motive is not very bad. Sometimes it is grave and sudden provocation and whatnot. But rape is one crime that can never happen without a depraved mentality, without a very, very sinister and, malified, just because the victim is a woman and you are using it as a power. It is a power crime. It is a hate crime. And we want a surgical strike on women's safety issues. Please don't take it lightly anymore, because we won't allow you to take it lightly anymore. Enough is enough, sir. Please take it at the highest level and have a surgical strike in your state on women's safety issues.
Yeah. Very well said. In fact, Aishwarya, we live in a world where black money was abolished overnight, where we did a surgical strike against black money, we did a surgical strike against counterfeit notes, we did a surgical strike against insurgents. Why can't we do a surgical strike against rape? Why can't we put the women of our country on priority? And I want to echo what Aishwarya said. She said it so well. It is not a woman versus man debate. In fact, the men on my panel are feminists who believe that women have equal rights. Sujay Kandawala joins us right now, very senior lawyer in Mumbai. Sujay, the government has let us down repeatedly, and one of our viewers called in and said no woman should vote in 2019 because none of you guys are good enough to represent us.
No, I've just come in from Delhi, and there was a shocking incident of a girl working in Gurgaon from Northeast, and she was having a dinner with her friends, and then she went to a house, and outside her house she was abducted by 3 people. So it seems to me that these gundas, these elements, these antisocial psychos, they seem to feel that all these stage of appeals, first there's a trial, then there's a high court, and then the Supreme Court,
first there is
and
a
they'll
police
keep on
that
buying
refuses
time.
to file FIR. And let me point out, Sujay, in that case, which happened on Saturday night, arrests have not been made yet. Not yet.
So she pleaded to them because she overheard that they may be wanting to kill her. She pleaded to them, they let her go. Now the issue is this, they have let her go, but that does not absolve them of anything. They have to be convicted, they have to be tried. See, what happens is that when these trials keep on taking its own time, these kind of convicts, they you know, when they fraternize in the jail, when they are arrested, they will dekh lenge, time lagega. There will be some activists who will come and say, no, now don't have death penalty and all. Therefore, now what we should have is a very strict code, and we should have a timeline for these things. If we don't have a timeline for these things, then you know what? People will now start taking law into their own hands. And then the society will come out on the street and say, if law is going to take its own time, me being a lawyer, I'm telling you this, that frustration will creep in. That we don't want. We don't want that, and therefore we have excellent judiciary, we have excellent judges. All we need is now to set down timelines for these trials.
Vikram Singh, I'm still taking very, very grave offense to a representative of government who turns around and says, what are we supposed to do? Keep all of the women safe.
Your indignation is very true, very appropriate, and we all share your indignation and the anguish. Mr. Raman Malik, speaking on behalf of all the lady panelists, each and every word that they have said have left an indelible mark on my mind and my subconscious mind and my consciousness. Now the least we can do, nobody expects you to have a magic wand. Nobody expects you to go for a kangaroo court. But working within the ambit of law, as very well articulated by Mr. Sujay Kandawala, a very eminent lawyer, that you just have to pursue them with vigor, with a sense of purpose, with a dedication. A resolute nation stands behind you to see and looking at you what justice you can dispense within the ambit of law. No kangaroo courts, please, and nothing extrajudicial. But what we do expect is show no mercy where it is not required. We do not expect anything extra constitutional, nothing extra, but at least the least you can do is to do what you had promised, to wipe every tear from the eye of every woman. Do not wrong any more daughters now, at least. What has happened, go after them vigorously, have a database, pursue them, as Sujay Kandawala ji has said, on a timeline, on a fast track code, ensure that there are no acquittals. And if there are acquittals, please see that they go for an appeal and pursue them vigorously to the logical end. See to it that they do not look towards their daughters, and see to it that those police officers who are complicit, who feel that
there's a lot of vigilante justice that happens in our country when someone looks at a cow the wrong way.
No. To add to what Saab is saying, now we should also now appoint more of women judges, and we should request these women judges to man these fast track courts, because I feel that will make a very, very big difference.
Are you again trying to have another angle to this debate, Faith?
No. I'm saying simply this, Raman Malik, that there is a lot of vigilante justice that happens in this country when someone looks at a cow the wrong way.
If the same kind of thing was said some time back, it would have been I don't know, what a name would you guys have given? Why are you now not sticking to the topic that we are discussing? You want to bring in cows? I will bring in 10 other things. You want to get on to that, or let's debate on this topic?
They just can't hear it.
Raman Malik, let's talk about
example. It was just given as an example. Why would you in that sense?
You are so
Raman Malik, I see
defensive.
no
You are
reason
so
why you should
defensive
take
about
offense so
cows.
much.
You are so defensive about cows.
Why can't we stick to the topic?
There is no
You are so
reason to take
defensive
offense
about
like
cows.
that.
Why can't you be
Anjana Kapoor, go ahead.
defensive about
Anjana Kapoor, go
women's
ahead.
safety?
Why are you
Let's
trying to
talk
hurt my
about-
religious sentiment?
You were so insensitive to the
Why are
family. You were
trying to
so
hurt my
insensitive
religious
to the
sentiment?
family members.
When I am talking about logic, I'm talking about facts. You are...
You know, you're religious and Raman Malik, that when we talk about
if you
rape
can't
and
take care of the
brutality, you want
women
logic
of
and facts. When I
women
talked about cows, you suddenly got very emotional. I think I'm seeing where your emotions and where your loyalties lie right now. Why didn't you get this emotional when we talked about that poor girl being raped and brutalized? I mentioned cow once and you completely lost your cool.
Why are you getting onto this again and again?
Why are
This
you
is the
losing your
fifth time
cool?
you are doing
Why
this.
those people
Why? See how jittery he
You're
is
doing it
about
deliberately.
cows.
Why are you losing
As an
your
anchor,
cool?
How
this
jittery he
does
is
not
about
You
the
didn't
cows.
get this upset when I
scene
told you
that
that a
you're
girl
sitting
had
on.
her face smashed in with a stone. It
Yes.
didn't upset you. Why didn't it upset
Yes.
you this
Why
much?
absolutely
are
fair.
you
What is
not
it about
discussing
my
the
harmless
topic
mention of
that we
cows
are
that has
to?
currently
Now
got under your
let's
skin,
start
Raman
talking
Malik?
about religion.
Why are you getting so upset about cows?
It is not your harmless.
It is
your deliberate.
religion is to
attempt
take
do
care of
that.
every
And
woman's
this is your third
safety.
or fourth attempt to do it.
A
I think
true
you-
religion
Mr.
is to
Malik.
take care of the
I know.
women's safety.
Anjana Kapoor,
In
Anjana
your
Kapoor, go
religion,
ahead.
in our religion, women is the top
every-
Yeah,
priority.
well, I want you to speak on this, Mr. Raman Malik. Just a second,
True
please.
religion.
But I
what
guess
we are
Raman Malik is
talking
still
is-
upset about the
Mr.
cows.
Raman Malik.
To cow
I
puja.
treat women as mothers.
Mr. Raman Malik, just give me a second. So let's talk
Don't
about
treat us like
criminology in this.
mothers.
What
We don't need to be treated like
happens is
mothers.
when,
Navratra,
like
We
when,
need to be treated
worship the girls.
respectfully.
Who are you to talk
yeah,
about it?
let me put through, please. Yeah, let me
Who
put
are
through,
you to
please.
talk about it? Very well said, Mr. Raman Malik. Very well said. We're women of this country,
And
Mr.
who are you
Raman
to talk
Malik.
about the
I'll tell you who
अगर
we
आप
are.
बार-बार मेरे साथ इस तरीके से करेंगे, I will file a criminal case against you. You're trying to instigate my
Please do that.
sentiments on my religion.
Please do that.
Healthy debate.
Do
What is the
that.
criminality in this?
Please do that, sir. I openly challenge you.
Mr.
Please
Malik,
do that.
Mr. Malik,
I
nobody has
disregarded
said
your
anything.
cow.
When I
Please
am
go ahead and
this
do that.
kind of a response.
Cow
Mr.
is a
Malik.
separate issue. We are
Please
talking
go
about
ahead, sir.
women's safety. We are talking about
Mr.
daughter
Malik,
safety. We are
Mr.
talking
Malik,
about our sister
what is this?
safety.
Mr. Malik, I think we need to stick to
Mr.
the
Malik,
debate
all of us
and
are-
respect
all
the
of-
panelists of the
all
debate
of us
and
are
not
true
threaten
to
criminal
our
cases.
Mr. Malik, let us stick to the debate.
Mr. Malik,
We
threatening
are-
criminal cases is not going to be of any use. Let us not derail the topic of this. Let us you first sympathized when you first came out. You first sympathized with the victim, with the father's, with the victim's father. Let's stick to that.
Sorry, this has happened on the first time on this debate.
No, let us stick to that. And my suggestion, my suggestion to you, you mentioned in between that what do you expect me to do? I will talk about two veins. One is a lighter vein in which I will say stop your men from getting out at night from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. In a stricter vein, I will say that ask your chief minister to move an amendment to the Criminal Procedure Code and to the IPC where you say that whenever a rape of this nature happens, or any nature for that matter, the victim's father, under the guise of the father, mother, whoever it may be, the relatives can go under the guise of fundamental rights of Article 21, right to life, and say, approach the Supreme Court directly under Article 32. So let's get past trial courts and high courts. Let's have that justice.
I want the audience to decide tonight what they saw. Aditi Sharma is on the phone line from Delhi. Aditi Sharma, you heard responses on the show. How do you feel as a woman in this country, Aditi?
I'm a young girl. I'm really shocked at what I'm hearing from the politicians. Mr. Singh has been a cop. I can tell you from my own experiences that the response time of the police is so poor. Even in cases where we have complained about Ola drivers holding me and my mother to ransom 2-3 years ago, the FIR was filed. Till date, we don't know what has happened in the matter. I feel so unsafe because my address was openly told to the driver in front of me and my mother. I also want to tell you, sir, that it is all a question of how we are being brought up in society and how our leaders are addressing these issues. Besides, of course, the fact that the administration, that is the police, the judiciary, don't look into the matters. Why can't this case be done within a week? I would just want to know why we cannot have our entire system look into this case and do it within a week. We were able to catch one lady who was, I think, holding some MLA at ransom purportedly within 24 hours in Delhi or some such place, as I read in the newspaper, because there was an MLA involved. Here is a poor man. No, my mother has been a victim of sexual harassment. It took her 15 years to get justice from the court. 4 years in a contempt case, which she finally had to withdraw. She has been sexually harassed again in her organization twice. And the government of India doesn't look into these matters. If a government servant's sexual harassment, ma'am, is not looked into, how are we expecting that the common man in this country is going to be listened to?
Justice delayed is justice denied. Vivek is on the phone line from Gurgaon. Vivek, you live in Gurgaon. Is your family safe?
No, I live in Gurgaon. My name is Vivek.
Yes.
I wanted to share one incident which recently happened with my daughter. My daughter is around 4-year-old and other elder daughter is 10-year-old. Around 9:30, she went just to half a 30 step backs nearby Mother Dairy.
Yes.
And she took her milk and she took her bread because early in the morning she went to the school on a daily routine. Recently, there are few past 25 years I've been staying in this sector 10A.
Vivek.
And I'm a permanent resident of sector 10A last for 25 years. I've been shifted from Delhi to here. So what happened, there are few people who are localites, those stays in a nearby villager area. They've been shifted to this sector 10 area. So they have some street dogs. So whenever my daughter goes out, whenever they, she play or anything, so they, they put up the street dogs on my daughter. Recently this incident happened and I tried to, save my daughter when the daughter was crying. I have all CCTV footage, whatever I'm telling you. I have all CCTV footage and everything, and I can show you if anybody wants such evidence, I can show. Which I'm trying to tell.
See, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, that our daughters need to be kept safe. We also have Purendru Singh, who's called in from Bhubaneswar. I'm just going to read out what he says, and this is important. He says, why are the faces... One second, Raman Malik. He says, why are the faces of these hoodlums being covered? We should be able to see their faces. All of this investigation is humbug. Raman Malik, I will come to you. Jayashree of Pune says every day an average
tomorrow morning we can sit on this and I will get the things.
Jayashree from Pune says, why are measures not being taken by the administration against the police? Shantanu from Gurgaon says the internet is open, ban provoking sites, smartphones should have certain age limit on what people can access. People are upset across the country. I'm just going to give Anuja Kapoor one quick word, and then Raman Malik, I will come back to you to close this conversation. Anuja, I know you've had your hand up for a while. Please go ahead.
I just wanted to put through now whatever right now, if you see the criminology into this and the perpetrators who are in this crowd, in this audience, you know what the message they are getting? It is that a government there is no law and order and a government is on our side, and whatever you do, you are going to get away with it. Because there is an exit, because the person like Raman will be sitting and will be guiding force for them to move ahead. Now, when the criminology comes into force, the victimology suffers. So victimology needs to be understood also in today's world, where you don't question them for their FIR, for the rape, for the clothes, for whatever the reason is. We have to come forward to make the people understand that this is not the game of gender, this is the fight of human existence. This is a fight for our basic right to life, which is guaranteed to us in our constitution. We are as much citizens of this country as you are. We are not animals. We are not lesser beings. We are not subhuman. We are citizens with the same rights that men have. Yogita Bayana, Raman Malik threatened you with criminal action, that he'd file a criminal case against you. Are you comfortable with that, Yogita Bayana?
Definitely, I'm comfortable when it comes to women's safety, women cause. The kind of words he used for, the way he handled the victim's family, I'm more than happy if he goes and files the FIR on me. Then I will see to it what happens to Mr. Khattar, his honorable chief minister, and what happens to his party in 2019. I make sure that who votes for his party and what happens to you. I also make sure that as an activist,
You
I
will
promise
get
you, because I
lot
also
of
led the
lawyers
Nirbhaya
right
movement,
here on
and
the
we have
panel.
resulted into hanging of these people.
Please do so.
You don't be scared.
Please
You
go
will
ahead
get
and do
lot
that.
of
I
lawyers.
challenge you on the show.
Mr.
Yes,
Malik, please
I am
retract
not at
that
all scared,
statement.
madam.
In good
I have
faith,
led the
please do
Nirbhaya
that.
movement.
I think
know
that's
how
the
to
last
take
thing
care.
that you can do. That's the least that you can do.
This is not the way. Sorry.
I think it doesn't behove you to beat out that kind of a threat. Please retract that statement.
Dr. Durusha, closing statements from Dr. Durusha. I'm not acknowledging what you're saying.
Why are you
Malik.
hurting my?
Raman Malik, I'm not acknowledging what you're saying. You're threatening my panelists.
You are personally attacking me. Is that permitted by any decency?
It's amazing, Raman Malik.
Is there permitted that with any decency a girl is brutalized and raped, killed at the tender age of 20? Is this okay? And you're defending the criminals? You're not with the side of the family? You're not having empathy? You're not having sympathy for the family? Is it justified? Is it justified?
This is what your problem
you are cross-questioning the
is.
victim's family. You're asking him
I am
to prove.
not there to defend.
You are hurting our
I am
sentiments.
not defending any rapist.
You are hurting our
I detest
sentiments.
them from their very existence.
Let me tell you.
Why were you cross-questioning
you are
victim's family?
hurting our
Simple as
Where
that.
have I hurt it? If I'm saying the case is filed, if I'm saying SIT is formed, if I'm saying fast-track court is happening,
Why
if I
did
say
you ask
people
him
are
a
arrested,
question?
if I
Why
say
did you
the
ask
car has
victim's
been
father
taken,
a question? When
सर आप डिफेंड कीजिए सर आप अपनी पार्टी को डिफेंड कीजिए आप बोलिए लेकिन किसी फेलो पैनलिस्ट के क्रिमिनल एक्शन का थ्रेटन मत कीजिए इट्स अ डिबेट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे
मैं जाके आपके लिए लड़ता हूं ये मेरा गुनाह है
जी नहीं आप डिबेट को डिबेट की तरह ट्रीट कीजिए
मदद करना चाह रहा हूं
सर डिबेट को डिबेट की तरह ट्रीट कीजिए दैट्स अबाउट इट
आप मदद करना चाहते हैं तो आपने उसे ऐसे सवाल कैसे पूछ लिए आपने उसे कैसे पूछ लिया कि प्रूव कीजिए कि आपने एफआईआर की थी आपको शर्म आनी चाहिए ऐसा सवाल पूछते हुए
लेट मी ब्रिंग इन अ लिटिल पर्सपेक्टिव
आपने कैसे पूछा विक्टिम फैमिली से कि एफआईआर का प्रूफ दीजिए प्रूफ दीजिए कि आपने
बोल रही हैं
you see what example and what message we have to send to the audience that is important
कंट्री में पैदा हुई मैं
we are all educated people on the panel here please allow me and that message that should be sent to the viewers and the panel and all those antisocial elements who are watching this debate carefully is that no nonsense is going to be tolerated. That is the message we uniformly, as a group, all of us, need to send this message. That is important. Please see the sentiment with which I am saying this. We need to instill a fear in them that if they try any such funny antics, their law is going to catch up with them so badly that it will be the worst nightmare that they are going to face.
Let me tell you what message we're sending out tonight. And I'm sending out this message not just to Mr. Raman Malik, and to the Chief Minister of Haryana, Mr. Manohar Lal Khattar, but to the Prime Minister of India, who said, Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao. Your moment has come. Now you come forward and you address the women of this country. You address the heinous crime that has taken place. You address the family, you address our emotions. You address us because we are citizens. You address us because we are voters. You address us because we are human. You address us because we matter. You treat us as we deserve to be treated. As full citizens of this country who deserve to live with dignity, who deserve to die with dignity, who deserve to be buried or cremated with dignity. None of those dignities are we afforded today because the law and order situation in our country has let us down. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly, at every street corner, in every office, in every corner office, in every police station, in every hospital. We get let down all the time like we don't matter. It is time, and there will not be another opportunity for you, Mr. Prime Minister, to come forward and address us for how we feel tonight. Lead us. Lead the country that has voted you to power. Speak to the men who have performed this heinous crime. Speak to the men who might be considering doing it tomorrow. And speak to the women who currently feel let down. Because while we are asking for your help right now, Remember that as citizens and taxpayers, we are also voters, a power that we will exercise in the next election. Remind us that we made the right decision. Please do your job. Thanks for watching.